What's good? Welcome in. You're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. Chase Senior here with you. Coming your way on today's show, a news and rumors mailbag where I take all of your questions from our loyal subscribers. The peak of NBA free agency, it's somewhat in the rear view, but a lot of intriguing storylines to get to. That's why we're answering your questions. First, though, today's show presented to you by Aura, the best online digital safety tool. You want to keep yourself safe from all of the online hackers. You can do so with Aura, a free 14-day trial. If you head to aura.com/chatsports, that link lives in the comment section and the description of this video. Eli moves. What teams do you think will be fighting for the 7th and 8th seed in the West this year? Wow, that's very precise. Let's just look at the teams in the West that can compete for the playoffs. So, Golden State Warriors, Phoenix Suns, Memphis Grizzlies, Denver Nuggets, New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, the list is so deep. Portland Trail Blazers have to be in that equation. The list really does go on and on and on. You know, you're looking at some of these teams to rebound and have much better years. Could there be a sleeper team, one of the young teams in the West, that could end up making the playoffs? But 7th, 8th range, you know, again, the Clippers have to be in the conversation of the playoff picture, but 7th and 8th range, Dallas Mavericks too, my goodness. You know, the teams continue to come to mind. But that goes to show you the depth of the West. So, honestly, between the 7th, 8th seeds and the 3 through 5 seeds, there's not going to be much of a gap. So any of the teams that I just talked about, they could be in the 7th and 8th spots. Evan Henders, Bulls have a top 5 starting lineup in the East. It's really good. We'll see what happens with Lonzo Ball. But Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, Vucevic. That's your starting 5 right there, at least the all-2 starting 5 as we sit here in the middle of July. And I think that's why they've addressed depth throughout free agency. Goran Dragic, Andre Drummond, a couple of other good young pieces on the roster, Ayo Dosunmu. So, top 5 starting lineup in the East? I think so. They were the number 1 seed in the East for a large portion of last year. We continue to move forward in this mailbag. Let's go to this question from Rambling Ron. If Al Horford gets old, could the Celtics target Kevin Love in 2023 in NBA free agency? And the Celtics over the last decade have shown some interest in Kevin Love. This was more sparked when Danny Ainge was running basketball operations, and Kevin Love was more so in his prime with the Cleveland Cavaliers after LeBron James was with that team. And Kevin Love, even up to this point, he's a pretty solid player, stretch 4 who can still give you some buckets, shoot the 3, always been a really good rebounder, not a great defender, especially if he gets put into a turnstile defensively. But if Al Horford just ages overnight, Kevin Love could be a decent player to help fill that loss. But Al Horford, he played really good hoop throughout the NBA playoffs and was instrumental for the Celtics' success. So I don't envision him just crumbling overnight. A little bit expensive for sure, but that deal is going to be expiring at some point, and Kevin Love could be interesting. If you want to subscribe to our Celtics channel, it's youtube.com/CelticsTV. With that, I ask you this question. Name a free agent you still want your team to sign. So list your team and then give us a name in the comment section right now. Some pretty solid free agents available. Which one do you want your squad to ink to a deal? Let us know right now. Ravers Kicks, what is your future outlook for the Detroit Pistons? And what do we need to do moving forward to ramp up our rebuild? You just need to be patient with the rebuild. They have all the pieces of being a really good team. Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, that's your backcourt. Sadiq Bey, really good 3-and-D guy. We'll see what Jalen Duren can become. Stevenson is a good player as well. Couple of good depth pieces as well. Do you bring in a Dennis Schroeder in NBA free agency? The future outlook for Detroit, it's great. What do you need to do moving forward? Develop these young players. And I like the prospects of Detroit becoming a very solid team over the next, let's say, 2 to 5 years. King Littleman, 33. Do you think D'Lo should be traded this year? He's going into the final year of his deal. So if he doesn't get traded, maybe the Timberwolves just let him walk. I think he's James Harden light, and I don't mean that in the greatest way. ISO scorer who isn't really all that efficient, way too inconsistent for me. Not sure on the offensive end it's a winning brand of basketball, and does he fit playing alongside Anthony Edwards and 2 bigs and Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert? I'd rather move on from him, whether it be via trade or after this year, and use that money allocated elsewhere to a better player. Luke Byrne, which Utah player could land in Dallas? We're talking Utah players. Donovan Mitchell would obviously be ideal. Donovan Mitchell trade to the Jazz to team up with Luka Doncic. That'd be fireworks right there. Other than that, they really don't have many depth pieces that Dallas would be all that interested in. Who'd you say, Sam? Mike Conley, Malik Beasley, like a couple of names in there, but Mike Conley, a little bit too expensive. Luke Byrne, I certainly appreciate that question. Today's show presented to you by the homies at Aura. We do more online than ever. What does Aura do? Everything and more to keep you and your family safe. You can start your free trial today, right this instant, by heading to aura.com/chatsports. We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. Some of the benefits of Aura: financial fraud protection. These family plans can protect up to 5 people. Online and device security. You sign up with Aura and right away, all of your information safe from all of those fraudulent hackers out there. Identity theft protection as well. This is the all-in-one digital safety tool that is elite. Head to aura.com/chatsports. We're going to put that link in the comments section and the description of this video. Appreciate all of you for supporting us and Aura supporting what we do. Scourge, Giannis, third MVP next year, potentially. He has all the talent in the world. I mean, you can make the argument year in, year out that Giannis is the most valuable player, and I kind of think of the MVP award like this. You take that player away from that team, what are they? Who are they? The Bucks would be atrocious. They wouldn't have an identity, and they would be sorely missing him on both ends of the floor. He could very well win his third MVP. He's already one of the game's greats. That would further solidify that status. Rumple Foreskin. If Westbrook is traded, what team does a player like him belong on? Rebuild, tank, compete for a title. I think it's the San Antonio Spurs. I think that could be the move because they have some of the most cap space in the NBA. They can absorb that one-year contract at $47 million, which is way too much and exorbitant for what Russell Westbrook is as a player today. But basically, they would serve as a facilitator for a 3-team deal with the Lakers, and they'd be able to take on that contract by trading away DeJounte Murray. It looks as though they're going to tank. They're looking to rebuild to a certain degree after a couple of years of just being a mediocre basketball team. So it's San Antonio from that standpoint. As for a playing standpoint, I really can't think of a team that would want Russell Westbrook. Master Chef, Carmelo Anthony to the Knicks. Let's make it happen. Reunion, baby. Carmelo to the Knicks would be fun for a couple of reasons. I think he can still play as a pretty solid bench piece. He's been putting forward a lot more effort on the defensive end of the floor, and I think that's a big reason why he's been able to crack some NBA rosters a couple of years after he couldn't find a job. He can hit the three. He's always been able to hit that post-up mid-range. He's a good offensive player. Fadeaways in the pocket as well. And him coming back to the Knicks. Yes, his career didn't start there. It started with the Denver Nuggets, but a couple of great years in New York City. And the franchise and MSG hasn't been bumping in a little while like it was for Carmelo. Him coming back, it'd be nostalgic to a certain degree, but I actually think he could help the bench a little bit. SM, if the Lakers don't get Kyrie, what other moves will they make? They can't really do much else. I think they've kind of exhausted what they've wanted to do and accomplish. One, there's not really that many great free agents out there. Two, they needed depth. They needed to get a little bit younger and bring in some youth. They did it with Lonnie Walker. I kind of like Damian Jones as a backup center. Thomas Bryant, when healthy, is pretty solid. But yeah, other than that, the Lakers have 3 max contract guys, and it's really tough for them to do anything else with 3 maxes. Johnny295, Patrick Beverley to the Warriors would be amazing. Him and Draymond Green talking that smack. Hashtag NBA go Dubs. Johnny, that's great right there. I appreciate the excitement and enthusiasm. Patrick Beverley to the Warriors would be fascinating for a multitude of reasons. He's been said to be close friends with Steph Curry, and you think about him and Draymond Green sharing the basketball floor together, 2 of the best trash talkers in the NBA, 2 guys who it's really hard to match their intensity, especially on the defensive end. All pro caliber defenders, both of them are. And at that guard spot, Patrick Beverley would be able to lock down some of the best point guards, shooting guards, and even though there's a size deficit, some of the best wings in the NBA as well. You lose Gary Payton II, you bring in Dante DiVincenzo, Patrick Beverley would also help that. If there's a buyout with him in Utah, could he sign with the Warriors for cheap? That right there would certainly be intriguing. Make sure you subscribe to our Warriors channel, but also get into the comment section right now. Will the Warriors repeat this upcoming season? Y for yes, N for no, let us know. And Warriors Today, all of our NBA properties, they continue to grow, including our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. Do you want more NBA news, rumors, trade talk, free agency conversation, live question and answer segments? Turn on those notices and subscribe. Anish, what's up, brother? Do you think Cam Thomas will get Jordan Poole type role if he wins Summer League MVP? Similar players with very similar games, right? They can come in off the bench and they can pour it up in a hurry. Very good offensive players. Cam Thomas has some work to do to become a Jordan Poole type of guy. But Poole, if he was on a bad NBA team, I honestly think he could average 20 to 25 points per game. He can score from all three levels in a very similar way that Cam Thomas can, or vice versa. So Cam Thomas, yeah, I liked him at where the Nets got him so late in the draft 2 years ago, and I think he's going to be a pretty good scorer this upcoming year if Steve Nash wants to use him that way. Lens Handcrafted Wood, if that's your business, go support his business. Will the Celtics add another player? Danilo Gallinari, great value deal. Trading for Malcolm Brogdon, I loved it. By the way, it's Lens Handcrafted Wood Sign. So that's his business right there. Will the Celtics add another player? Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I think they're pretty much set. I mean, they didn't really need to do all that much going into this offseason besides maybe find a backup center behind Robert Williams or get a true point guard as compared to Marcus Smart, who is not that. I think he's more of a combo guard, and they were able to fulfill the latter with Malcolm Brogdon. Jaden, which player did you think was going to be a stud who didn't fully reach their potential? Recently, Kevin Knox. I thought Kevin Knox was going to be really good. He was good in the Summer League, good year one, and then from that point, Tom Thibodeau was the coach, and Kevin Knox's game went downhill, and his confidence with that was shattered. Going to Detroit, can he redeem himself to a certain degree? Let's hope. But yeah, that's the one player who I certainly got wrong. Which NBA player was on the very first jersey that you owned? An awesome question right here. This is cool because we get to go back to our childhoods and go back to some really great days and think about these NBA jerseys and these throwbacks. Let me know right now. J. Harrell Obrador. Will the Warriors, sign Mac McClung to a two-way contract? I think he is deserving of it. I think that he can certainly play as a backup guard at the NBA level. I've talked a lot about it on Warriors Today. This guy is athletic. This guy has some bounce. He has some spring. He has some explosiveness. Not sure what he can do defensively. It's a little bit of a concern, but can finish around the rim, can pass it, can handle the basketball. I watch him and I'm like, this dude can play at the NBA level. Look at me. What are the odds of the Lakers missing the playoffs once again? I say 100 out of 100. If, let's say like LeBron and AD get hurt, they're screwed. If LeBron and AD are healthy, then I do think they make the playoffs because they're way too good to not make the playoffs. King Littleman 33, thoughts on Amani Bates recently? Him going to, Central Michigan was weird. One of the best players in the class after he reclassified. He went to Memphis. Yes, he was a little bit younger, but he was terrible last year for Memphis. His shooting numbers were dog. He's a little bit too skinny, needs to get a little bit stronger, and needs to become a more consistent offensive player. Albatross, last question in this mailbag. Who should sign Dennis Schroeder? Did the Houston Rockets bring him back? I'm not sure with the emergence of Josh Christopher, a player who I liked in the 2021 class. Detroit Pistons could make sense as just a veteran who can score the basketball and is proven to be a solid six-man. I think Detroit could be a solid option. Other than that, championship contending teams, I mean, they're pretty set with their respective rosters, so we'll see. Make sure you subscribe before we get on out of here so that you can join our mailbags here at Chat Sports. 100% free content. We're not behind a paywall, and we like to have fun as well. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. The real ones will hit that sub button right now.